Argument.
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 What is magic? Our argument, nothing but targeted deception.
Your argument is lacking in all scientific merit.
Weird.
Oh, good. That was an unusual interaction. I wasn't sure.
You guys have an argument? Argument?
No.
But I'm the astrophysicist. Astro means space.
Astro means star.
Okay, well, let me just tell you, if we were having this argument in my native language, I'd be kicking your butt.
I tried, but... You made a fairly well-reasoned argument.
Stuart, settle an argument for us. Who would win? Billy the Kid or the White Wizard?
Hold on, Will and Amy had an argument?
Yes, quite the kerfuffle.
Oh my god, I acted like a dumb diva. Hope you're not looking for an argument.
The other gentleman is using his elbow, and it seems to be working.
We have this argument. I'm car ride home.
Let's say it's black chicks. Okay, that's your thing. For the sake of argument, that's your thing, okay?
Jaden, she came over and we got in an argument and then it had happened so fast.
No, what's this? Oh, boy, I sure hope this argument goes on for another 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Generation.
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 To fit this into the fuller Carrie picture.
Hey, there aren't that many generations left. You've taken the greatest generation, the lost generation, the Pepsi generation, so what do we have left? Surprise generation? So, surprise.
Well, every other generation of my family has a sixth toe on their left foot.
The group is far smaller than SCAR's rival army, and teamwork is their best chance of protecting the nutgroves for the next generation. Generation.
We already have let that go. He's currently working on next generation units.
They call us the selfish generation.
Right? I call it the Riker in honor of Commander William T. Riker of Star Trek Next Generation. What do you think?
Shuttle program's coming to a close. We're looking to the next generation. This was supposed to be it.
Damn right he's pissed. You know, they took his family farm. 3 generations they had it.
No, dipshit. I'm just saying, maybe it skips a generation or something.
That sounds fruity. What I mean is, the police academy isn't exactly bursting with the brain trust of your generation, if you know what I'm saying.
Exposition to an autoimmune disease. Isolated antiviral antibody could cause complete heart.
Could also be passed through 4 generations.
My mother was a liar, and her mother was a liar, and your mother is a liar. It's a lie. Every generation tells the next so they can get grandchildren.
Ownership.
Ownership.
Ownership. Ownership.
Ownership.
Hey guys, I think we have to remember, this is the man. He answers to no one except ownership, and God.
Well, where the pride in ownership is.
They don't own that house.
You stole them.
Oh, heavens no. Stealing implies ownership.
Do you think you have sole ownership of that feeling?
I don't think you understand.
I appreciate you not discussing it with him when you go to him with my ownership proposal. You will think about it, won't you?
Okay, this is not good.
It's not good at all. Carlos has sold the farm. It's new ownership. All books. So the $6 grand you owe?
Now, typically, in situations like this, one party will buy the other out, unless you're interested in joint ownership.
Corporation papers, that's not proof of ownership.
No. Play offense, not defense.
How?
Bitcoin isn't a currency.
Has been approved and the ownership shares have been transferred.
Yeah, I know. I bought some, yeah.
We'll raise it together.
Him.
50% ownership, half the voting shares, and I'm on the bima at the bar mitzvah.
With your blessing, I'd like to open an OFAC investigation into his majority ownership position at the Del Paraiso Football Club.
No.
Insurance, home ownership, shared cell phone plans.
Active.
Active. Active.
Active.
Active.
Now, there are 3 recycling mills in Los Angeles, all of which are in the downtown area.
2 are still active, but the 3rd went out of business over a year ago.
No. I'm active, but I'm not popular.
Control room active.
How long have you been active? A little over 3 months.
What about before that? My understanding is you covered the campus, and they were pretty active, right?
Some asinine critics seem to have missed the vision of my first. And you aim to prove them wrong. Once I definitively prove that the culprits remain active, I will be lecturing at Harvard with tenure.
My storehouses, my safe houses, my traditional houses. If they have Teddy, they have it all.
Why keep it active after all this time?
What's that? It's an active kill.
Assuming that you were telling the truth about your age and weight, your resting heart rate should be about 70 beats per minute. Your active heart rate, however, that would...
One of our agents fell out of an active op, and this mission requires a young woman.
These motherboards, where are they?
What? These haven't been active in 20 years.
Get them.
Yeah, no one's gonna see him. So what about the mole hunt? Closing in. The mole is active. Knows your back, but not where you went or who you got.
Now, you and I are going to take this. I want to keep this circle tight. I don't know who we can trust. Are those lights still active?
Opportunity. Opportunity.
Opportunity. Opportunity. Opportunity.
You see, we gotta look at all this as an opportunity. Opportunity.
It is a threat.
See it as an opportunity. Opportunity.
All right, listen up. I just heard from the Hong Kong office, and we have a big opportunity in the Asian market. Big opportunity in the Asian market. Big opportunity in the Asian market.
That's an opportunity of a lifetime.
I had an opportunity to go get this cowboying job at a place called Madison River Cattle Company.
Now, since Lisa thinks every opportunity to reject me is a clear win, I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome the newest member of our team, Heather Doyle.
Master Yao is being transported from his meditation tower to a new home, and his stopover here is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
How would you like the opportunity to,
Turn out, huh?
Well, it's quite an opportunity, actually. Gather as many men as you can, and do not hesitate to kill Cyrus Gold, because if given the opportunity, he'll do the same to you.
But I will have the opportunity to travel back in time in the near future.
Rare opportunity to go back in time and right a wrong.
Vacant.
Vacant. Vacant.
Vacant.
Vacant.
Right?
Now that the apartment across the hall is vacant.
Seat on the Medici Bank board after all these years. Giuliano's seat remains vacant.
The law firm that owns it, Zachner Williams. Floor is always vacant. No cameras, nobody saw a thing.
Where are we setting up?
The text found us this vacant, a block away from Felix's.
Nadir Kadem was found bound and beaten to death in a vacant apartment in Bed-Stuy on March 7th, just 2 days after call number 17.
Escape route, but from that point on, we have nothing. There's a vacant lot 2 blocks away. They could have had the getaway vehicle parked there.
Hun, these lovebirds want to stay in bunkhouse 14. Is it vacant?
Oh, sure is, but why? It's a single room with a twin bed.
Oh, that's okay.
Sentence you to death.
I'm at Ocean and Grand Felicity. That's just a vacant lot.
How is this possible? This can't happen. He's...
Not so long ago, I would have put that guy down for good, but looking at him today, all vacant.
There's a vacant house right next to mine. SEALs will be there guarding the area.
Times never charged. Current whereabouts unknown. Last known address we have for the guy turned out to be a vacant house.
To fall into disrepair.
To this day, you can find homeless people squatting in vacant beachfront mansions. Crane never even bothered to evict.
Here's your boy.
Or it could just be vacant.
So I already looked up the return address. It's just a vacant lot. I think Headley's messing with us.
Brings you to the Capitol.
I was just asking Miss Gallagher who's running to fill the vacant seat in Pennsylvania's first.
Rely.
Rely.
Rely. Rely. Rely.
We don't have their kind of money.
Did we invent money?
We rely on private donors, rely on private donors, rely on private donors.
Yeah, right.
See, we Medicis have no historic name like the Patseys. We must rely on our wits.
Regular thing, I can assure you.
I am sure you're a decent enough mechanic, but I need guys I can rely on,
So, we rely, therefore, on your complete discretion.
Well, so the Jords say.
Yeah, you're right. We can't rely on this or the Jords. We've got to evaluate them face to face.
And now we're trapped here on this rock, on this island, with no one to rely on but each other. And now you're acting like what?
Oh, you may rely on it, my dear and only boy.
Tilting events in your favor or against it is ridiculous. Idiots rely on luck.
I'm certain we'll work well together. I'm told you rely heavily on consultants.
All that you rely on.
Campaign season. I may need some men I can rely on.
I rely on you. I thought that you were someone who could be a true partner. That you were someone that I could rely on in my mission and in my life.
Explain.
Explain. Explain.
Explain.
Explain.
That might take some of the pressure off.
You're gonna try to explain my relationship to your daughter?
Hell no. I don't believe this.
I never meant for you to find out this way. If you just let me explain.
Explain what? Explain what? Explain what? That this whole thing was a lie?
Why? Because I don't want to have to explain to people who you are.
3 minutes from now, I just might get myself another stockbroker.
I can explain everything, Miss Marjorie. It's a very simple case of them changing their accounting statements.
I don't know. I swear. Your last SAT score went up 320 points. How do you explain that? I studied really hard.
Why all 3 women were surrogates?
It would explain why we haven't located any of their babies.
Look, all that matters now is where we go from here.
All that matters to me.
Can you explain a little more about what you think everybody gets?
Look, there's good and evil in the world. You're kicking me out. I'll explain it to your psychiatrist, but yeah, you gotta go somewhere else.
I can't very well explain to her that I left our mother alone and bleeding on the pavement because I am fast enough to almost run down the attacker.
And bumps, travel, food, lodging, wardrobe. Now get lost. Or you can explain to Sergei why Katya will be crying into her sequins all night.
Your turn. Explain that.
Seriously, dude? Seriously? Explain this to me.
Ian, what the fuck?
I can explain this.
Virus.
Virus. Virus.
Virus.
Virus. Some kind of a virus. There's no visitation for at least 2 months.
I sound like a computer virus. Computer virus. Computer virus. Awesome.
They're running on software I helped write. Software I can hack to build a virus.
aren't affected
It is
immediately.
viral. It has to be viral. There is no plausible alternative. And like any virus, once we find its origin, we can develop a vaccine.
And I have to ask, what if that isn't what happened? What if someone else unleashed that virus?
The source of the virus was traced back to drug testing done at Genesis Laboratories in San Francisco.
Sickness is surrender. Did my body betray me and allow a virus in? Perhaps, but that's not my problem.
Birds a year.
Yeah, you also gotta watch out for the bird flu, right, James?
Yeah, virus can take down the whole city. That's my juice, man.
I uploaded the same virus used in my gear in the foundry.
I've deleted everything the CCPD, Argus, and the FBI had on you and sent a virus to erase every digital record of you online.
Disease.
Virus.
Virus, yes. And it's going through
Through the plane's electrical system.
Yeah, blowing things up.
Let me tell you, he will spread like a virus. Okay, and since the New Jersey mob doesn't like partners, it's only a matter of time before they cut out the Samoans.
A month ago, a millionaire died of a mysterious virus in Dusseldorf. Poison was suspected, but the post-mortem was inconclusive.
Habitat. Habitat.
Habitat. Habitat.
Habitat.
Indeed. Geekus nerdipithecus in its natural habitat. Natural habitat. Natural habitat. Alone as usual.
Seeing you in your natural habitat, is truly disturbing.
Who says I remember? Dr. Belli, we believe that Dr. Well was killed at the benefit Friday night.
At the animal park?
He was found in the tiger habitat. Tiger habitat. Tiger habitat.
This brave mother was willing to do anything to protect her cubs. But she's powerless to save the habitat they need to survive.
Be immortal or to reproduce. If its habitat is not sufficiently favorable or nurturing.
Our bottom. Well, it's your bottom. I went to happy hour once and woke up naked in the penguin habitat at the Bronx Zoo.
And you are? Warden Schlaffabursky from the Wildlife Commission. A mammal on our endangered species list may lose its habitat with this new construction.
There are tinder dry conditions out there. Warm temperatures, low rainfall, high density housing in a natural habitat.
Your whereabouts?
You don't have to answer that.
I volunteer at Habitat for Humanity.
It even confirms that the missions rover was still parked at the habitat at the time of the incident.
At some point, right?
Yeah, Haley's got her beach trip, and Alex is doing Habitat for Humanity, and Luke has camp.
What else could I do?
There's Habitat for Humanity, building houses for the poor.
Okay, come on. I don't even have my own house. I'm gonna build one for someone else.
Cautious. Cautious.
Cautious.
Cautious. Cautious.
Just when things start getting interesting around here, you go cautious, cautious, cautious on me.
Recovering my courage with an effort, I take a cautious look out, cautious look out, cautious look out. In the middle of the room.
This is my chance to finally make him pay.
But we have to be cautious, cautious, cautious.
No, those guys, they're cautious and paranoid. They don't put shit in the file.
Mr. Burke said they might not be.
It was our first session. He was just being cautious, but they felt real because they are real.
We were just following the trail for Omega, like you ordered us to.
I ordered you to be cautious.
Former criminals turned into assassins to operate.
You won't have to.
We'll be more cautious in the future.
I would never be so petty, but I can appreciate your cautious nature, even if caution doesn't seem to fit with someone who assassinates a head of state in front of 500 witnesses.
I waited at the drop site for an hour.
Calm down, Mr. Krill. There's no need to panic. We're being cautious now that SHIELD is a factor. But not yet. Whatever gas came out of that obelisk hit you too. That's why we're being extra cautious.
Unfortunately, Jordan Hester seems to be more cautious than most, but I was able to run a credit check.
Give me 5 minutes.
They're cautious.
Throughout.
Throughout. Throughout. Throughout.
Throughout.
This happened. And not just the cover. No. 15 times throughout the book. Throughout the book. Throughout the book.
No, it's the ship. It's the spaceship. It goes everywhere. It goes all throughout space. all throughout space, all throughout space.
We can steal glances throughout the evening, throughout the evening, throughout the evening.
But it's important to remember this. This is a pattern that repeats itself throughout history.
No, I'm a man of wealth. A self-made man. Throughout the world, 3/4 of everything that is written with a gillette pen nib. One of my nibs.
Ronan is destroying Sandarian outposts throughout the galaxy.
Ever seen. It swept throughout the village, killing everyone that it infected.
A pill to rise, a pill to sleep, a pill to numb her throughout the day.
There are lethal patches of toxicity throughout this area.
That can help us in combating the spread of Islamic radicalism throughout the continent.
Presence.
Presence. Presence.
Presence. Presence.
Is there a purpose to your presence? Presence? Presence?
Come out! But I think part of what you give your kids is more than just your presence. It's your example.
All right. Now.
But until the newcomers detect her presence, she still has a choice.
We are committed to our presence in New York.
Indeed, we have noticed a lot of increased traffic, FBI presence in town, and our...
Is that why you're gracing us with your presence, Uriel?
We're in danger.
What the hell are you talking to me for?
My presence will only draw attention to them.
We've all lost his presence.
Angel's sidekick would rather rip off her wings and spend another minute in your presence.
These people find comfort in my presence.
Your presence has been requested.
Our father, his presence all around the baby. It was so strong.
Vice.
Vice. Vice. Vice.
Weiss.
You still go to Mickey's? What's your cholesterol?
It's my one vice. I'm keeping it.
This guy that I work with, Mr. Davies.
The vice principal.
Yeah, he,
Whatever Agent Booth says, you respond with whatever word or phrase pops into your head, and vice versa, and vice versa, and vice versa.
New girl, meet newer girl, and vice versa.
When I spoke with the vice consul and asked him about his interactions with Nicholas Barkley, he reported at the time that he spoke English.
To you, Vice President of the United States, Mr. John Russell.
Thank you.
You don't miss a job at all, working vice?
Nah. I'm mad fun to shop with. Trapped in between two whole wheat slices, pastrami and Swiss are my only vices.
Yes.
Is there a vice pastor, somebody else we can talk to?
That's the point. So I'm gonna help find the family. You guys find a way to get him into surgery.
She's vice president of Fantasyland.
Well, who's in there?
Is it the president? Or the vice president?
Until he gets his money. If I ever drink again. Right. Java's my vice now.
You don't get it, Fusco. You see those two in the suits? They work vice at the 15th.
Influence. Influence.
Influence.
Influence.
Influence.
It will expand, evolve, influence.
It's our understanding that you have great influence with the governor.
I wouldn't say it's great or influence. Influence.
You still have influence. People who believe in you.
Well, the lead singer had a really bad heroin problem and needed a good influence.
11 in a row. A lot of excitement. What a winning streak. But how about the calming influence of Art Howe?
Hip-hop fucking influence on white fucking suburbia.
What? You know, I'm trying to be a better person.
This is the girl's influence on you, isn't it? This is Jenny, am I right?
They say the devil's influence is spreading, and so must be a judgment on the city, a judgment on the Medicis.
Different life.
I've already dispatched Piero to meet with the Neapolitan nobility.
Ferrante discovers that you're attempting to buy
What will he do?
influence.
What will he do?
I think you might still be under the influence, but okay.
Kessel, not like that. Just check my back. There's something that hurts.
What do you mean?
You were under the influence, Paul.
Heavily under the influence.
Thea Queen, you're under arrest for driving under the influence of narcotics.
Harrison Wells and Barry's cop foster dad both said you were dangerous and a bad influence. Barry defended you.
Accessible.
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 Mr. Ross borrowed, he was not digging through asphalt or concrete, so that could further narrow our search to areas of accessible soil, accessible soil, accessible soil.
Where are you with that?
We're sweeping every wirelessly accessible camera on the planet. Accessible camera on the planet. Accessible camera on the planet.
Not a very accessible person. Accessible person. Accessible person. I suppose you've realized that by...
Finding you was a different matter. Your work is easily accessible online.
Four-quadrant strategy, cohesive across all media, presenting and instantly accessible.
Buyers will want to arrive and leave quickly, somewhere private, accessible by aircraft.
How long until the funds are accessible? Like any other bank, 24 hours.
Was what that cable was, how?
The location of such cables is mapped. They're accessible with very little effort.
Because McManus was on the loose, maybe they had to make a different plan. Place the bomb somewhere more accessible.
Inside Merlin Global Group's main headquarters on the 25th floor. It's only accessible through a restricted access elevator.
I know. Just a question. Does this super secret room have a super secret entrance?
Yes, it's accessible two ways. The first is through HPD.
Trace back.
Hold on, the deep web, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah, no, 96% of the internet isn't accessible through standard search engine.
Evident.
Evident. Evident. Evident. Evident.
Evident, evident, evident. He was not acting alone.
Who's there?
We come in peace.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, self-evident, self-evident.
It was very important for us to check the facts and to question the facts until it was evident that I was innocent.
And we must find an evident calamity. Though we had our wish which side should win.
Your Honor, here are the incorporation papers. As you can see, the only signature evident is that of Mr. Stack.
Because he's Bitcoin's lawyer, not its creator.
Bitcoin has subcontractors.
An $80,000 religious study? And I think it'll be evident to those upset by the verdict.
I always hated that language, as was evident in your studies.
I don't know why that surprises you. I'm a grown man. It should be evident by this sport coat and very real flower in my lapel.
Fractures are evident on at least half a dozen bones, including possible cause of death.
It's been 6 months. There's not much chance that the fungus would still be evident on a smooth metal surface.
Well, Aristu said that she would have suffered severe bruising and broken bones, neither of which were evident.
Okay.
Gentlemen, what we have here is a male victim. COD is quite evident based on the multiple stab wounds.
Perspective.
Perspective. Perspective.
Perspective.
Perspective.
Okay, maybe from our perspective, he could have done more. Made himself more of a resume and a paper trail.
Surrounding Derek's incarceration. How these events helped shape your present perspective concerning life in contemporary America.
I want to know why. It was never my intention to kill Nora. But from my perspective, she was already dead.
I'm not a rewrite, man. I'm the writer. I'm the one who puts the facts into perspective. Oh.
Great program at Fox River. You'll have a mentor who you'll work with weekly, give you a little perspective.
A mentor?
Puzzles.
needs to be viewed from a different perspective. Painting is about more than just strokes. There's perspective.
Those he employed.
And I will gladly respond in kind.
Consider their perspective.
You lack perspective.
Da Vinci, stay your hand.
She wants payback.
That's the many fights I've had with my father in perspective.
I've been keeping tabs on Helena over the past year. Last known sighting was a month ago, Palermo.
Took getting locked up to give me some perspective.
You're keeping to yourself?
I've been taking care of Lincoln.
Okay, but from our perspective, we don't even know what to call them.
Inhumans.
Strain. Strain.
Strain.
Strain.
Strain. We were gone. Truth is, it's been happening for a while now.
Being the vigilante's wingman was a strain. Was a strain. Was a strain.
And they're bad. You know, it's that, and it's the money that he's been lending his father. That's creating a strain, creating a strain, creating a strain.
How much are we... How much have we...
Wait. Don't let shopping strain your brain, oh. Strain your brain, oh. Strain your brain, oh. Just sing this short refrain, oh.
You know, in my day, when you wanted to make a cup of coffee, you just had to boil the water and strain the grinds. Now it seems like you need a PhD. Results came back normal.
No, she's not fine. And it's not just the flu.
Okay, flu symptoms vary depending on the strain and environment.
I pulled off an El Segundo high sophomore last night.
Same strain.
I mean, my daughter's been kidnapped. I am under a bit of strain right now.
I'm going to do you the favor of believing you're just an idiot.
There's certain heft if it was going to fool John Douglas.
Just bred an antibiotic-resistant strain of rubella.
The ficus is an aggressive grower. It'll strain the limits of any container, but this one...
Reported to the hospital, but they're in isolation.
What's the prognosis?
Well, this particular strain of H5N1 is lethal and can be spread through airborne contact.
Just like Castle.
Similar strain, too, but the main attraction is what I found in the man's mouth.
I guess the strain of losing 2 family members must have been too much for her to bear.
Careful! Hydraulic vents are putting a lot of strain on that door.
Compensate.
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 I wanted to make up for my lackings, so I devised ingenious mechanical contrivances to compensate for my weak spots.
Any valuable information a pirate captain ascertains shall be compensated in equal favor.
If he doesn't like how they taste together.
If samarium prices don't reduce, the market will have no choice but to compensate. Compensate. Compensate.
In the event of an evacuation, 2 breaths every minute from one of these will compensate for lower levels of surface oxygen.
No, nostalgia compensates for the lack of flavors and stimulates the brain to recreate all the missing pieces.
I'd use what I could to heal him, and he'd compensate us for those resources through service.
I vetted them with great care, and Fring made sure they were well compensated in the event of a situation such as this.
What's happening?
2 engines are down. We're trying to compensate, but they've been tampered with.
Sabotage.
To try and vent the systems so the blast goes up and not out.
I'll need to reset the particle parameters to compensate.
Intrusion.
We have been over this. You and your staff will be well compensated for your help.
We noticed that your tenants were jerry-rigging heaters to compensate for the fact that there was no working heat.
You don't compensate a working girl so you can cuddle after.
If I'm going to lock up this nomination for you, I deserve to be compensated.
Essay.
Essay.
Essay. Essay.
Essay.
I need to get started on my college essay. You know what? Maybe I'll write it about you.
Well, that's certainly a thought-provoking hypothesis. May I suggest it as the topic for your essay? And your essays, suggesting that I'd have better luck making friends if I wait till the Cylons take over?
Well, she's puking and telling you she wishes more guys were like you. And then she gets into Cornell because you wrote her essay for her, and you drive up to visit her one weekend, and she acts like she doesn't even know you.
Honey, what is all this?
Hey!
Hey, Mom, I'm trying to write this stupid college essay question, and I really don't even know where to start.
Okay, what's the question? Tell me.
What's the biggest obstacle you've ever had to overcome?
Okay, I get something from tummy.
I'm just so stressed out. You know that hero essay I have to write?
Mm-hmm.
A poem. This was my whole flight.
What's she talking about?
My college application essay. They want students who are worldly.
Oh, well, why don't you write about our trip to Hawaii when you drank straight from the coconut?
Do you even know whether Jeremiah wants to meet his birth mother?
He wrote an essay last year entitled Nature versus Nurture.
This here, this is creative. This shows that I'm different. This is the kind of essay that Harvard wants from their students.
We added a couple of monsters for some of you who might be interested in that. And you're going to write your essay about your god and goddess, and to make sure that you cover everything.
Truly think you have a shot at getting to any one of these schools. The trick is going to be the essay question, and then... What did I write my essay on? I used yours. I tarted it up a little.
So I went through some old articles that Palat wrote for the school paper, an essay he won an award for, as well as some papers that he wrote at Stanford. They were all very clinical.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly.
You're saying that this is actually possible to travel into the future?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly, there will be people on the outside who will not understand the condition you men have.
Do you think we'll see her again?
Oh, undoubtedly.
The orbital plate.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly, you're used to the smell of shit following you wherever you go.
Who undoubtedly already have doctors, just like your patients in Fairview have you.
Hey, Sheldon, guess what I heard today? I'd imagine you heard any number of things today. When you arrived at work, you undoubtedly heard, "Hello, Raj. How are you, Raj?" Undoubtedly yet another snide response to my repeated letters complaining that the flags in front of the courthouse are flying in the wrong order.
What, you think they're connected?
Undoubtedly. The bullet that killed Ben Lahinea was a direct ballistics match to the slug that I recovered from our John Doe.
What are we waiting for?
Well, the terrain's not easy. There will undoubtedly be some nasty impediments along the way.
We should prepare.
They're undoubtedly connected. I'm of the opinion that something very well planned is about to happen.
And though the branches will undoubtedly grow, because the cost of freedom is high.
Exhaust. 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 Exhaust.
Exhaust.
Remember, I don't think I looked at him more than once. We were exhausted.
I finished up around 8:30. I went home. I was exhausted. That's where I was when I got the phone call.
On the car. Hey, Tony, grab the hearse, new house cap, grab sawzalls. We need to disassemble the exhaust.
What stood out for me was that most death penalty cases take 10 years to exhaust all appeals.
Baby, I was tired, okay? I had an exhausting day, and I did hear some of the songs, like...
You should go to bed.
I will. I'm exhausted.
Thirsting for vengeance, keep our relentlessly attacked, exhausted Uguay.
Yeah, I just needed a minute.
You look exhausted. How long you been here?
That night I was working on the exhaust system. My house alarm went off.
I mean, what do we have to be nervous about?
Well, we've already exhausted every topic that one would normally talk about on a first date.
And after you confirm that it is his blood, you'll exhaust yourself with conspiracy theories as to how I planted it or how it's all a lie.
Rescuing you is exhausting.
I really miss the ability.
I have had 8 hours of sleep in the last week. I am breastfeeding and I am exhausted.
It isn't.
We'll find Emma, but we've been searching all night. Everyone's exhausted, yourself included, so we refuel, we regroup.
Fire's in the exhaust system. We gotta get that aerial up to the roof.
Slash.
Slash. Slash.
Slash.
Slash.
Slash, slash, slash. Don't stab. Make it deep.
When we go out on runs, he'd bash somebody's skull, slash somebody's throat, slash somebody's throat, slash somebody's throat. And say, never waste a bullet.
You're crazy.
You're crazy slash beautiful. Whatever.
Hey, neighbor slash boyfriend. Hi, neighbor slash girlfriend. Well, in high school, there was Marcus. Quarterback slash homecoming king. No.
I don't want to be another washed-up jock slash war vet like him. There's more to life.
We created the Panama Canal, a slash of 80 kilometers right through the jungle.
Anybody know any artists slash welders around here?
Damn it. Someone slashed the tires.
It's a loony bin.
Slash health resort? Okay, Hunter, type this in. C:/system/request user. Hunter. Oh, God, Hunter, please tell me you know which one is /.
Yes, typing.
Oh, look. It's Catherine's boss / ex-boyfriend, Billy, is that his name?
Yes, you know his name is Billy.
Do you know how many tires got slashed that day?
15 years he were ganging.
Liberate.
Liberate. Liberate.
Liberate.
Liberate.
That you're here to liberate them, liberate them, liberate them. Are they right?
With the private, freshly liberated, we celebrate with a well-earned high one.
And now that she's starting to live life as a liberated woman, I just don't know if I feel the same.
I liberated it from Pop's bag before we left.
Chester helped liberate Paris. Oh, really?
All by myself.
Nico! That's Vanessa. She's newly liberated from the convent of St. Anthony.
Indeed. And that's why we're going to liberate it from the one place Riario would expect it to be safe.
Oh, it's not mine. I liberated it from Agent Polk.
You see, I believe I may have an opportunity to be liberated from this place.
If he won't give us Alex, we'll liberate him.